So today we're gonna go ahead with the Untethered Soul by, I actually don't know. I know it's gonna be in the title of the video and or podcast anyway, so there's no need for me to remember this. Even though it's probably a good thing to do, but anyway, let's not just judge myself. We're gonna go ahead with Untethered Soul theme 5, I'm sorry. And 1 to 4 we've gone through yesterday, and I think when this episode is uploaded, the other one should be uploaded as well. Should be. I want to point out, should be. Well, yeah, let's see. Witnessing your mind. The only real solution is to take the seat of witness consciousness and completely change your frame of reference. And there is a quote, a very, very big one. The process of seeing something requires a subject-object relationship. The subject is called the witness because it is the one who sees what is happening. The object is what you are seeing, in this case, the inner disturbance. This act of maintaining object awareness of the inner problem is always better than losing yourself in the other situation. This is the essential difference between a spiritually minded person and a worldly person. Worldly, it doesn't mean that you have money or state. Worldly means that you think the solution to your inner problems is in the world outside. You think that if you change things outside, you'll be okay. But nobody has ever truly become okay by changing things outside. There's always the next problem. The next real solution is to take the seat of witness consciousness and completely change your frame of reference. And I heavily believe that this book is just meant for me to be read now, since I am in a place where I don't feel that nice, that amazing, and have certain problems, as you can indicate by my dropping voice. But I think it is amazing. I really think it is, because I especially liked, but nobody has ever truly become okay by changing things outside. There's always the next problem. And it is definitely the case. There's always something next. There's always the next thing, the next that, the next this, the next problem. Yeah. There's always something next. There's always something coming up, and there's always going to be something coming up in the future. And so, okay, if you change something outside to change this one problem, does this then also mean that you're going to change the problem per se? Probably not really. And this is then a pretty fucked up thing and a pretty not that nice thing. So yeah, it's definitely about things that have something to do with your inner game, with how you're feeling inside, with what you're doing, with so and so. And yeah, that's definitely the case. Nothing to argue about that. This involves a change from outer solution consciousness to inner solution consciousness. You have to break the habit of thinking that the solution to your problem is to rearrange things outside. The only permanent solution to your problem is to go inside and let go of the part of you that seems to have so many problems with reality. There are two distinct aspects of your inner being. The first is you, the awareness, the witness, the center of your willful intentions, and the other one is that which you watch. If you aren't there experiencing that peace that occurs when your thoughts stop, then obviously your existence is not dependent upon the act of thinking. Once again, if you are in there experiencing the peace that occurs when your thoughts stop, then obviously your existence is not dependent upon the act of thinking. You're not the thinking mind, you're aware of the thinking mind. You are the consciousness that is behind the mind and is aware of the thoughts. The minute you start putting your whole heart and soul into the mind as if it were your savior and protector, you will find yourself behind the mind watching it. That is how you know about your thoughts. You are in there watching them. Eventually, you will be able to just sit in there quietly and consciously watch the mind. Thinking is something you watch the mind do. You're just in there, aware that you are aware. You are the indwelling being, the consciousness. It is not something that you have to think about. You are it. The only way to inner freedom is through the one who matches the self. The self simply notices that the mind and emotions are unraveling and that nothing is struggling to hold them back. It really makes sense. It really does make sense. It kind of means that you understand that your mind is your mind and your mind is not you. Quite. Even though it sounds ridiculous and strange, I just really have to say that, yeah. But yeah. But I would say this as well. If you can understand that your thoughts are your thoughts, and it just gives you the power of understanding and making it happen that you're not that affected by it. You know, your mind can really affect you if you let it affect you. But if you understand and if you think that your mind is just a separate piece that has nothing to do with you quite, then yeah, you know, it still is a ridiculous thought. I really have to admit that. But it makes sense that you're then going to feel better about yourself and you're going to feel better about everything because you understand that this is not affecting you and this has nothing to change and can not change anything with you. Thinking is something you watch the mind do. You're just in there aware that you are aware. You are the indwelling being, the consciousness. It is not something that you have to think about. You are it. Untethered Soul Theme 6, Consciousness and Awareness, the root of the self, the seed of consciousness. You are the conscious being who is aware that you are aware of all the inner and all the things. As you go deeper into yourself, you will naturally come to realize that there is an aspect of your being that is always there and never changes. This is your sense of awareness, your consciousness. It is this awareness that is aware of your thoughts, experiences the ebb and flow of your emotions and receives your physical senses. This is the root of self. You're not your thoughts, you are aware of your thoughts. You're not your emotions, you feel your emotions. You're not your body, you look at in the mirror and experience the world through its eyes and ears. You are the conscious being who is aware that you are aware of all these inner and outer things. And I think this thought per se can put you really in peace or on peace, whatever. Because it just gives you so much power. It gives you so much power over yourself by noticing, well, I'm actually just watching things. You know, the real me, the real self, it is watching everything. It is watching my thoughts. It's watching my body and my physical appearance. It is watching everything. And so, yeah. I have power over everything because I'm fucking watching it, motherfucker. Now you are in your center of consciousness. You're behind everything, just watching. This is your true home. Take everything else away and you're still there, aware that everything is gone. But take the center of awareness away and there is nothing. That center is the seat of self. From the seat, or from that seat, you are aware that there are thoughts, emotions, and a world coming in through your senses. But now you're aware that you are aware that that is the seed of the Buddhist self, the Hindu Atman, and the Judeo-Christian soul. The great mystery begins once you take that seed deep within. If you go very deep, that is where you live in a seat of consciousness. A true spiritual being lives there without effort and without intent. Consciousness is the highest word you will ever utter. There is nothing higher or deeper than consciousness. Consciousness is pure awareness. When you are aware, when you are an aware being, you no longer become completely immersed in the events around you. Instead, you remain inwardly aware that you are the one who is experiencing both the events and the corresponding thoughts and emotions. When a thought is created in this state of awareness, instead of getting lost in it, you remain aware that you are the one who is thinking the thought. You are lucid. It is very stoic, actually. If you think about it, if you think about the fact that you are just somebody that is watching yourself, quite your mind, your own experience, your everything, then it just gives you the ability to respond to outer events and outside actions and outside events in a completely different way. You know, if something happens, then you know, okay, this is something that I'm experiencing and I'm just seeing this emotion. I'm just doing this emotion. I'm emotionalizing this emotion, whatever you want to call it, you know what I mean. I don't have to respond in a way. I don't have to feel that emotion. I could also feel another emotion because I'm just watching my body doing it. I'm just watching my mind doing it. But I could do something else. It just gives you some really fucking amazing third person perspective onto yourself and onto your whole experience of life. If I just now, to give an example, as I'm thinking about it, I might not be feeling that well in terms of mental health because of various reasons, because of some things that I in the past did, for example. But if I think about it, it is a thought that I'm having and it is an emotion that I'm having. I'm feeling it, I did it, whatnot. I see the emotion, I see the thought, but it is something that my body, my mind is doing. It actually gives you some sort of I don't give a fuck about anything attitude. I also don't know if I like that too much. What differentiates a conscious, centered being from a person who is not so conscious is simply the focus of their awareness. Okay. It's not a difference in the consciousness itself. All consciousness is the same, just as all light from the sun is the same, all awareness is the same. Consciousness is neither pure nor impure. It has no qualities. It's just there, aware that it's aware. The difference is that when your conscious is not that when your consciousness is not centered within, it becomes totally focused on the object of consciousness. When you are a centered being, however, your consciousness is always aware of being conscious. Your awareness of being is independent of the inner and outer objects you happen to be aware of. That is how an awakened being lives in the now, quote unquote, now. They are present, life is present, and the wholeness of life is passing through them. Imagine if you were so fully present during each experience of life that it was touching you to the depth of your being. Every moment would be a stimulating, moving experience because you would be completely open and life would be flowing right through you. Relatively long book summary, which I totally enjoy. But I wonder, should I even go through the next bit? I don't want to leave just too less for the next episode, you know? Don't have that, but I could definitely zoom in, by the way. Untethered Soul Theme 7. Inner energy, the flow of spiritual energy from the depth of your being, which is G or Shakti or spirit. You have a wellspring of beautiful energy inside you. When you're open, you feel it. When you're closed, you don't. This flow of energy comes from the depth of your being. It's being called by many names. In ancient Chinese medicine, it's called Qi. In yoga, it is called Shakti, and in the West, it is called spirit. Call it anything you want. All the great spiritual traditions talk about your spiritual energy. They just give it different names. That spiritual energy is what you're experiencing when love rushes up into your heart. That is what you're experiencing when you're enthused by something and all this high energy comes up inside of you. Consciousness is one of the great mysteries in life. Inner energy is another. It's actually a shame how little attention the Western world pays to the laws of inner energy. We study the energy outside and give great value to energy sources, but we ignore the energy within people. The energy within. People go about their lives thinking, feeling, and acting without the understanding of what makes these activities take place. You should know about this energy because it is yours, it is your birthright, and it's unlimited. You can call upon it anytime you want. It has nothing to do with age. Some 80-year-old people have the energy and enthusiasm of a child. They can work long hours for 7 days a week. It's just energy. Energy doesn't get old, it doesn't get tired, and it doesn't need food. What it needs is openness and receptivity. This energy is equally available to everybody. The sun does not shine differently on different people. As you explore your inner energy, a whole world of discovery opens up to you. The most important thing in life is your inner energy. Should have finished up with it. No, I'm unable to do so. But I'm going to go through the 8th one as well. Just going to leave a little bit for the next time. Staying open. If you remain open enough, waves of uplifting energy will find your heart, so don't ever close. Staying open is what the great saints and masters taught. They taught that God is joy, God is ecstasy, and God is love. If you remain open enough, waves of uplifting energy will fill your heart. Spiritual practices are not an end in itself or in themselves. They bear fruit when you become deep enough to remain open. You should never leave something as important as your energy flow to chance. If you like energy and you do, then don't ever close. The more you learn to stay open, the more the energy can flow into you. You practice opening by not closing. The more you stay open, the more the energy flow can build. At some point, so much energy comes into you that it starts flowing out of you. You feel it as waves pouring off of you. You can actually feel it flowing off your hands and your heart, and through other energy centers. All these energy centers open, and a tremendous amount of energy starts flowing out of you. What is more, the energy affects other people. People can pick up your energy, and you're feeding them with this flow. If you're willing to open even more, it never stops. You become a source of light for all those around you. So you learn to stay open no matter what happens. If you do, you get for free what everybody else is struggling for: love, enthusiasm, excitement, and energy. If you really want to stay open, pay attention when you feel love and enthusiasm. What you'll find is that the only thing you really want from life is to feel enthusiasm, joy, and love. Which is something I definitely can sign and definitely can say, yeah, this is the motherfucking truth, bitch. It's definitely the case. There's nothing to argue about that. Nothing. Absolutely motherfucking nothing to argue about that. If you're enthusiastic about the job that you're doing, if you're feeling joyful about whatever the fuck you're doing every single fucking day, and you're feeling loved, whether you're having a partner or you're having no partner, you're gonna be fucking insanely indestructible. Nothing is gonna be able to fuck with you. And it gives me so much energy to read that. Really. It's insane. It really is. But it is something. This piece, this a few words, which is which you can't go through in an hour quite. If you go through it, every week or so, I do think it's great therapy. I'm not gonna lie, it's fucking amazing. What you'll find is that the only thing you really want from life is to feel enthusiasm, joy, and love. And you can indeed have that by being open and by seeing things and by, I think, open meaning actually being receptive, being receptive for things and not closing up and trying to experience things and trying to see things. And then also remembering that your thoughts are your thoughts and your emotions are your emotions, something that you feel, but it's not you. You're not your emotions and you're not your thoughts. Something really important, I think, to remember. If you're feeling depressed, it is not due to your depressive thoughts. Quite. If you think about it, I think it makes sense. As so many things when it comes to, I think, spirituality and philosophy. Yeah. But yeah, with that being said, I really am willing to end this episode since I do need to do some other things. Amazing book. I'm so blessed and so happy that I've decided to go through that and not some other book, which I could have definitely also done, but I decided to not do anything else but that. So I wish you the best health, of happiness, and also success, and also hope that you're gonna remind yourself and you're gonna be remembered, which basically means your legacy, and basically means just you being remembered as a good person. 3 other questions that I have you are: why are you here? What are you trying to change, and what is bothering you the most? These 3 questions are hopefully going to show you your purpose and maybe even a business idea, which is a pretty fucking cool thing. One last thing that I want to give you is, what could you essentially say to another person that is indeed going to change their life? Because I totally believe that we all can say something, that we all can communicate something that's indeed going to change their life. And with that being said, hopefully going to see you next time. Bye bye.